Hi, I'm Kate Krieger-Watkins here with the Scoop from Mason County Press, and I am joined today with Tom Hinman from the Chamber, but you can tell everybody what your actual title is.
My actual title is the Talent and Entrepreneur Development Coordinator for the Chamber of Commerce of Ludington and Scottville.
Awesome. Well, we are here today to talk about the big Momentum Pitch Night that's happening Friday. So I think a lot of people in town, in the county, have heard about the Momentum. I would hope so, seeing that we're going on the fifth year, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Momentum project and kind of some of the past winners that we've had?
Yeah, so the Momentum business plan competition came about because John Wilson and Anita Wilson from Pennies from Heaven Foundation wanted a way to invest and accelerate small businesses within Mason County. So they approached the Chamber of Commerce and said, what can we do? The Chamber, and this was 5 years ago when business plan competitions weren't really popular, and they're a lot more prevalent today. And they modeled it after Detroit's Hatch competition, which is another small business competition where they give $50,000 to a brick and mortar business within the Detroit area. And so they started it, and Andy Thomas from Starving Artists was the first year winner. He won $50,000 and grew his business really fast, doubled his production size. Candyland Dairy was the second winner. Okay. And she was able to build a goat creamery right on her farm, which is really great. Wow, She's one of the only A-certified goat farmers, creamery farmers in the state, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then we had All Occasions of Ludington Events and Floral, which is right there on James Street. And then last year we had Sister Bees, which is another Mason County business that does natural skin and beauty care. So, we're coming into our fifth year, and it's evolved, over time. So, it started with us just giving out $50,000 for the last 4 years to one winner. And we have had other people invest. So the Mason County Growth Alliance invested in the second place prize, and the Ludington Spin and Yoga was the first year recipient of the second place prize. Cynthia Lane Pilates last year was the second place recipient. Okay. This year we're not really doing it that way. We're actually going to split up all the funds, right? Or potentially split up the funds, right? So really we're allowing the judges to decide how they're going to spend their dollars a little bit. They don't have to give all $50,000 to one business. They could go and say, well, we want to give it 20 to this company, maybe 10 to this company, another 10 to that company. And the point of that is kind of through the process of going through this, we've discovered that a lot of these businesses don't need $50,000 right now. That it's almost a little bit too much, and we want to have a great impact with that kind of investment. So we want to be able to have the ability to spread it out amongst the community and different businesses.
I think that's a good idea because, like you said, sometimes the businesses maybe have grown enough where they don't need that money, or they're not to that point yet, but a boost of any kind would be amazing for them.
Right, because when you look at even like what the average small SBA microloan is, it's only about $13,000, right? So,
sure.
Yeah, right. Being a business mentor, I have to know these things.
I know nothing.
Yeah, so it's when you look at that as the average small business loan is anywhere from that $15,000 to $20,000. 13 is the average. Why are we giving out $50,000? Now that's not to say that certain businesses don't need that, because like Andy was able to double his production size with that. Candy was able to build her own creamery.
Yeah, I'm sure there's certain projects for each different business that definitely cost more than other types of business
and
ventures.
That's why if a business does come along that the judges seem, they need that $50,000, they still have the ability to do that.
Okay. So they might give the whole chunk to somebody, but they might split it up.
I jokingly say, the year that we are able to break up the money, they're going to give it to one business. I don't think that will really happen, but it might.
I think it all depends too on the business plan and how well that looks when it's presented. So, speaking of the business plan, why don't you talk about how people can kind of apply for this and what they actually have to have?
So it is a business plan competition, and that means you have to write a business plan. There's no entry fee or anything like that. Like, we want to keep it low barrier. You have to be a Mason County resident or willing to move your business to Mason County within a year and stay there for 3. Other than that, just be 18 years or older and a U.S. citizen. If you're currently in business, you can't do over $250,000 in sales, so we cap it at that point. It's really for that business that's in their first 3 to 5 years of growth, and to really help them, because once you get started and get moving, you kind of feel out where you're going as a business. Then you're able to take on these expenditures to grow and scale into that way, right?
Sure.
Or that's the way you should be going about it. And we wanted to be able to make sure that we're investing in businesses and making them viable without them having to take out a loan, right? Taking out that
That would seem a little pointless then if you had to take out extra money, but
it does happen. I mean,
well, if there's more that they want to do that doesn't cover, yes.
Exactly.
So
with all of that, what's really cool is how this competition, John and Anita Wilson took the first step, right? They're like, we're going to start buying into Mason County businesses. And what's happened since then, we've had the Growth Alliance that's said, we want to help assist in entrepreneurship. And then last year we did our first 5x5 competition, and Epworth funded that. So we're going to continue doing that as well. So if you think I don't have a business plan, I don't even have a business. Well, that's why the 5x5 is really great, because it's $5,000. You don't have to have a business plan. You just pitch your idea. You have 5 minutes to do so in front of 5 judges, and they give $5,000. Because the biggest thing you hear when people are like, well, why don't you start your business? I don't have any money. Well, here's an opportunity to get $5,000 to start that.
Right.
So, if you're in that stage where it's I just got an idea, then apply for the 5x5. That will open up June 1st. The pitches will happen on August 7th. You can just go to momentumstartup.org. That's momentumstartup.org, or just call the chamber, ask for Tom, me, and I can get you in the right direction. So, but let's say you are an existing business. Well, you should have that business plan. You got to figure out where you're going to scale. You probably didn't start with a business plan, but you're at a point where you've operated for a year or two. You figured out where your clientele or how you want to grow is, and then you start writing your business plan, which is daunting. I mean, it's a lot of time. I mean, it's not easy to do so.
And we were talking earlier that in order to get a loan from a bank or something like that, they want to see a business plan. So there are businesses, that probably don't have those business plans, that haven't had a loan, or that are starting out, and it is really daunting. I mean, they're not small, but
no.
I think you offer some services, though, too, out of the chamber to kind of help with that, don't you?
Yeah, so we house a SCORE chapter in our local area, and SCORE is a national organization that has free business and confidential mentoring, free and confidential business mentoring. Sorry about that. So it's able to, for everyone, and it's free. Like I said, you can come, meet as little or as much as you want, and you're able to have some people that have been in business for a long time, that have worked on business plans, that have helped people get loans, really fine-tune their business plans. So, and that's all free. I mean,
that's great.
And we live in a great area where we really, we try not to have so many barriers of access to start a business, because it's not easy. It is hard to start a business, depending on the business, and everyone's a little different. But it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, and there's a lot of risk involved.
Absolutely.
And an entrepreneur, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, it's not for everyone. If you're a person that does not take failure very well, then maybe you shouldn't start a small business, because I guarantee you, at some point through that process, you're going to fail.
They do say failure is the best teacher.
Well, and it's so true when it comes to small businesses.
Yeah. Well, I think too, if you do have that, idea to, when you said June 1st is when they're starting for that 5x5, give it a try. Pitch your idea. I mean, really, you don't have to have a business plan, and you could get $5,000, so you really have nothing really to lose, and you could end up having $5,000 in your pocket to start a really cool business in Mason County.
Well, Sister Bees won the first 5x5 competition, and then they went on to win Momentum. So,
I was going to ask you, there's a lot, and also that's the thing too, where you've seen last year some of the 5x5 contestants have now moved into being the big, possibly $50,000 winners also.
Well, you had Humanity that also competed in the 5x5. They competed last year in Momentum. They're competing again this year in Momentum. And you have a lot of repeat businesses. Out of the 5 that are competing, 2 of them are repeats. So Lita's Educational Childcare, she was last year, as well as Humanity. They were both in Momentum last year, and they're going again for for some money this year. So
Let's talk about who the 5 are
Yeah.
that are going up on Friday.
So you have Humanity, which is a small tea shop on South James Street that is a B Corp, which means it's a benefit corp, and that means that all of their profits are going to anti-human trafficking efforts, which is a really cool cause, and they've grown a lot of popularity throughout the years. You have Lita's Educational Childcare. She has her operation on Washington Street. I think she's been there probably almost a year, well, maybe not quite a year, but almost a year.
Right,
And she's
the
just
old
growing.
architecture
Yeah.
and Acme branding.
Yep. And she's just growing. She has a great reputation in the community for providing great childcare. You have the Tailor Shop, which is a full tailor shop. Tracy Schkeed is her name, and she's a master tailor. She does laundry as well, like pressing and alterations, and she can even rent tuxedos and suits from her. And then, let's see, who am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, we have 2 artists, right? So we have Mary Kay's Art Studio,
Yes.
which is on Dowland Street. And she moved here almost 2 years ago from the Detroit area. She's actually blind, but she's an art. She does amazing art, and she does amazing art teaching as well. That's really what's blown up for her business, is the classes that she offers. And then we have Inspired Parties, which is a Sarah Sexo. She's actually our youngest competitor at, I think, 24. So
Yeah, it's just something around.
yeah, 20. I can't remember what she said, but she's our youngest competitor, and that we've ever had, and she's the one that does the painting parties around town.
Right.
But now she has her own little studio on
Yeah,
Jababi.
I've seen that on Facebook a lot, which she holds a lot of her classes out there, so
Right,
that's really cool.
right.
And I think she's I know other artists have kind of rented out her space too.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. What's really cool is to see the collaboration between like her and Mary Case and all the other artists within there. Even though they're doing something similar, you know, they don't look at each other as competition, as whether more or less like let's help each other, let's build
That's
that kind
great,
of art
yeah.
community within our area.
That's-
One thing I'd really like to point out though is that all of the businesses competing, they're all women owned.
Oh,
Other than Humanity,
they are, aren't they?
50-50, but still that's cool, right?
That is cool.
And even if you look at our past winners, I mean, Andy's the only male winner. So we're a community of awesome, yeah.
Go Mason County women.
Yeah, well, it really showed, you know, in kind of just looking at this and how it's progressed throughout the years and how we're moving forward, and just to see that a lot of our fiercest competitors when it comes to running small businesses in our area are women. It's like, wow, I mean, what are we doing here that, you know, because when you look at, like, when I've talked to other people that run business plan competitions, they're like, yeah, we're trying to get more women involved with them, to get more women businesses involved, and I'm like, well, we don't really have that problem, you know.
That's I never even thought about that, but yeah, you're right. All of the winners have been,
Other than Andy.
yeah. Well, you can't.
Something in the water. I
You
don't know.
can't count out Michelle. He's got a great,
Oh, yeah,
life by his
right?
side, but it's mostly Andy. But so the pitch is Friday night.
Yes.
Kind of walk me through what that night looks like. It's open to the public.
Yep, it's free and open to the public.
What time does it start?
So it's at the Ludington Area Center for the Arts. We do a meet and greet. So basically, in the gallery, we'll have all of the contestants with a table and set up, and you'll be able to go have light refreshments, just kind of, you know, network, mingle, meet them. Really, it's just to showcase who these competitors are. It's to show what great businesses are happening. Because even like, you know, Humanity, a tea shop, they still, you know, every day, oh, I didn't know you existed, or I've never been here. Like, it's amazing when, like, because I talk to these people all the time, and then, you know, they tell me that, wow, people still don't know I exist, right? And and that's the point, is it's really just to showcase the great entrepreneurial spirit that we have in our community. So between 5 and 6 is the meet and greet. We start the presentations at 6. That will go to about 7:30. After that, the judges are going to go deliberate. You're going to hear a presentation from Sister Bees about their year in review. And then there's going to be a cocktail hour.
Okay.
So we're giving the judges about an hour to figure out how they're going to break up the money. as
Who
we
are the
should.
judges?
The judges are, and they're the board members, so John Wilson, Ray Bigg, John Wilson, Pennies from Heaven, Western Land, Ray Biggs, President and CEO of West Shore Bank,
Okay.
Tom Payne, President and CEO of Metalworks, Jim Scatina, local business leader, and Kathy McLean, who was the former President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and co-owner of Spindrift Cycles here in downtown Ludington.
I feel like you've rattled those names off before because you knew it.
Yeah, this is all, I talk about this stuff all the time. So so those are the 5 judges, and they're the ones that also selected who presents. So, they go through, they read all the business plans, and they select the top 5 that they want to see present.
And when did they select these? Like, when did the people, like Humanity and LIDA, when did they get the call saying, like, hey...
Middle April.
Okay, because they had over the winter to
So we
work on
opened
their
up
business plan.
the entries in January.
Which was different this year.
Yeah, so we flipped it. Before you're like, wait, it's already momentum. Yeah, we just did this in September. But that was because instead of making people work on their business plans during the summer months, we thought, why don't we give them the time to do it during the winter months when no one's doing anything, right? So we did that. We also changed the amount of the sales cap. So it was $100,000 in sales. We raised that to $250,000. And then again, we were able to break up the money. We did all that to make it more appealing to people, because it's a lot of work to do the business plan. But if you knew that, hey, I have a better chance of getting some money, maybe I'll do it, right?
Right.
And so, all right, back to the
meet and greet, business pitches. Sister Bees are talking. Then there's a cocktail hour.
Yep. So we're gonna have Starving Artist beer.
Okay.
We're gonna do all occasions is actually throwing the party. So they're going to have an ice cream bar for dessert.
Oh, sweet.
They got cheese from Candyland Dairy. We like to celebrate the past winners,
That's
right?
cool, yeah.
Maybe Sister Bees will bring some
lip balm.
Lip balm, I don't know, right?
Free lotion in the bathrooms. Hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
At least in the ladies' bathroom. I always like it when you go in there and you get, that stuff.
And so, you'll be able to then go and then talk to the contestants again, say, hey, I really love your idea. Have some, a little bit heavier appetizers, have a couple beers, wait for the judges to decide, and we're going to bring everyone back in to the auditorium and announce how it all shook out.
Cool.
And that's it. Then it's a wrap.
And then June 1st, we'll be collecting the 5x5s.
We'll open it all up again. There'll be a table at the event.
Oh, great. That's
for anyone, if you're interested in the 5x5, we're going to have a bunch of information there. If I know it's daunting. Starting a business is really daunting. So if you're like, I just don't know, just start the conversation, right? See where it leads to, and who knows? Maybe you'll be up on stage next year. Right?
Well, and I'm sure that the past winners or the contestants can give some really good feedback about, hey, I thought this was going to be really hard too, but then I went to see somebody at SCORE, or I worked on this and I found this online. I don't know, but they might have some really good tips to give some people.
So there will be one winner. Even if they break all the money out, there's going to be a defined winner, and that winner does get some added services. They get the ability to work with the board. They get to, they work really, really closely with me on a lot of different issues. We're trying to build up a suite of services, professional services, to let them start out and build that base structure so they can really launch off. Right. And I think that's really, that's another great asset of this competition.
It's not just about the money. So.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody that for any local headlines that are happening today, head to MasonCountyPress.com, and also to check out our local weather, sponsored by Smith & Eddy Insurance. You can check that out on Mason County Press as well. If you want to be a sponsor or a guest on The Scoop, just email our editor at MasonCountyPress.com, or check us out on Facebook. Well, thanks again, Tom, and good luck on Friday with everything. I hope it all goes smooth.